Yo, I love that new logo, dude.
Yeah, it looked good.
It does look good. And I will tell you that you're developing a bit of a brand when you change it to just Mayhem Arm Wrestling. It kind of made it not so limited to just one tournament. You know, maybe.
Well, we're not in Middleburg anymore. You know that we outgrew Middleburg, so I went to Mayhem Arm Wrestling instead of Mayhem in Middleburg because last year we was in Jacksonville, and we'll probably be in Jacksonville for the most part, but Middleburg is too small of a town. I've outgrown the biggest place there, and that was that bar, Southern Social. So, you know.
Good. Those are good.
It was good last week because it was only 2 miles from my house, but it is what it is.
Hey, listen, we're 60 days from the end of the year, and I think you're still leading as the biggest event of the year so far.
Maybe so. I mean, it wasn't as big as last year, but we had right at 160 this year.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Last year was 100 more. No, I'll take it all day. Truthfully, that's perfect numbers in my opinion, because even though I was ready for bigger, it was smooth. Everything was smooth, and
but let's be honest. Also, arm wrestling is down this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Just as a whole. Yeah, that's so. Yep. I would say to still even in down times do the biggest event of the year thus far. It still speaks.
160 is a good number. I would say, from my experience, 160 is a really good number.
Oh, I'll take it all day. But that in my what I've done, that's the average, right? That's my average. Where 260 was my peak.
Yeah, so that speaks to to really putting in a full year into the promotion of one event, what it can do for spreading it out. A lot of the problems I had with running so many events back to back in the past was you're only getting 4 or 5 weeks of promotion time for each event till it jumps. So
I don't know how you do it. 1 to 2 is enough for me. Like, I helped Moody with his this year, and I run my own, and that's a lot. Running 1 and 1 a month is just unbelievable in my mind.
How was the Moody tournament?
It was small. It was about 80 entries, but it was a good event. It was solid. Like every class had a class guy in it. Jerome was the man, right? I mean, Jerome, but he beat Underwood in the overalls, and Carl beat Underwood in the super match.
Carl did win. He in the super match. Was it right-handed?
Yes.
Wow, that's a good win. I know Don's a little bit past.
Yeah, almost positive.
What?
Yeah, it was good. They had a war, and it went to all 5 matches. I mean, they had a great deal.
Did Carl beat him with the press at the end?
I want to say he won on fouls at the very end, but he did. But he pinned him. I think they were 2-2 on pins, and then 1 match went to fouls. So
almost every super match I've ever seen with Carl goes to the late matches, and he gets the prep at the end, or he's a round 5 guy.
Well, I don't know why he don't do the press off the get-go because he's so good at it, but he's like, man, I'm just going to top roll, and if I don't work, I'll do the press.
Yeah, if he hits it hard.
I pulled Jerome in the opens, and then he went to the overalls, and he beat Underwood in the overalls. So.
Yeah, it looked like a fun time. Anytime you can couple something with like a car show or a convention or whatever it is, it's dope. I mean, they have. You remember they had the Renaissance Fair tournament back in the day. Did you ever go to that?
I went to it once, and then when I started arm wrestling, it was mixing it with the county fair in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
so that was. I don't think it was Florida State's, but it was the county fair with the arm wrestling tournament in it.
Yeah, I love it, Mikey. Am I taking over with all the questions too much?
No. Have at it.
Chuck, I want to quiz you. I want to quiz you about some history that I may not know, and maybe you could tell everyone that watches this.
I'm not a good tester, but we'll see.
Experience? What's the first Florida State championship that you attended?
2000.
24 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 2000. I took 4th place to Wayne Matthews won it, and Bobby Hopkins Jr. got 2nd. was my first tournament. It was the second tournament I ever did. So went to states and took fourth out of 25 guys in the amateur super heavies.
Yeah, Wayne DeMatthews was a beast too.
Yes, he was.
He was a beast. He was like Paul Passmore-esque.
Absolutely.
He was. A lot of people don't remember that.
The fireman games. I believe he's still doing the fireman games, arm wrestling and stuff. He's just not on this circuit no more.
Yeah, the 2000s Florida States. Where was it at?
At Mudville Grill.
At the
it had already been
Grill.
there around 5 years. Yeah, it had been there 5 years at that time when I started. So I started training in '99. Maybe beginning of 2000. And but I had really started when I was 16. But I wasn't doing tournaments. I was playing football, but I went to practices, and that was in '92.
Now, who were you training with? Greg Helm
is when I was. Greg Helm, Ray Taglione, and Keith Crocker. So Ray Tag was our world champ. He was in Over the Top. He did all that stuff, right? And he was a lightweight, multi-time world champ. And Greg was one of his proteges. And Greg was the national champ forever. And he was very left-hand master. And then Keith Crocker was a solid second at nationals. He's kind of like I took over his reign for Team Jacksonville's coaches, getting second at nationals, So very solid. Though Cage Crocker, Keith Crocker, he went by both names.
That's the same person.
Yeah, same person. Yeah, he got into UFC fight promoting. Yeah, he was a UFC promoter and went to Vegas and became Cage, Kage. So,
hey, that's a good name to be in the UFC.
Absolutely, he did his thing. That's for sure.
Chris Rousakis said that he hosted the Florida State Championship in 1982.
Wow.
So when you started in 2000, was Karen Bean the promoter?
Yes. Well, actually, Greg Helm was the promoter. He ran it, but it's like he hired Karen and Frank to run it for him. He was the promoter. He brought in the names. He did all that stuff. And then as he retired, Frank and Karen just took over. They had a great deal and they took over the deal. That's the way I understand it. Because I know Greg was very, very involved back in the day when he was an arm wrestler.
Yeah, and so we should have had Chris on here too, so we could really trace the lineage of who was promoting it at what point. Because I imagine it passed between a lot of people's hands. And just, the Florida State arm wrestling it could have easily not existed. It could have not existed through COVID. Let's say that Greg didn't take it over or Karen didn't keep running with it when Greg was done.
Right.
It's been something that arm wrestlers seem to have really kept afloat. And now as you're telling me, I realize.
I remember. Yeah, it was huge. I remember. I think one time we had 20 states show up there, 20 guys from different states, and it lasted till 1 a.m, right? They ran 2 tables till 1 a.m. until it was over. It started at 11 in the morning. It was a long day, but it was 200 plus entries in a 2000 era arm wrestling match, which was huge. That'd be huge now. It was really huge then, And then when COVID hit, it fizzled out.
It's a hard tournament to win. I took second place 5 times in a row to Chad Silvers, Mike Bianchi, Greg Hilton, I think Craig Touye one year. It took me 7 tries before I finally won the tournament. And this is just, a Florida tournament, but historically the Florida State has been hard. I seen a video where
absolutely
it was like, I actually think you were in it. It was where you arm wrestled Cleve Dean and Todd Hutchings.
Yeah. Yep.
It was 05. I think it's 05 Florida States.
That was probably my best showing at a tournament, right? I took Cleve out and I took Todd out that day. And I think I lost to Ron and Dave Randall, if I'm not mistaken. So
and you won 5 years in.
Yeah, that was the 5 years in.
So all you guys 5 years in watching.
I won my amateur. It can happen for sure. So my second year as an amateur, I went undefeated, and then I went pro. That was the day they said, you're a pro now. It was like my 3rd tournament. And then it took me 10 years to win it as a pro. Then I won it my 10th and 11th year. Yeah. And then I broke my hand my 11th year and never won again. I was top 3 a lot, but never won again. So
yeah, it's
name dudes, especially the super. Back then, I had to pull Ron Bath, Cleve Dean, Todd Hutchins, Bobby Hopkins Sr., Jr., Kerry Nick. You name them, they were all in that weight class. And then we had the Louisiana boys that came over. Toulier pulled. I remember one year Toulier beat Cleve in the overalls there. So. I mean, that was when he was 154 and Cleve was probably 6.
Yeah, I'd love to see some past results compiled about some of the, because you would think, Florida State would be dominated by Floridians. It's historically been dominated by out-of-state competitors.
Absolutely, because the elite would always show up because it was such a good tournament, for sure. Always.
Dude, I showed up one year, and the fucking kid Valentin that just won Worlds from Bulgaria is there in my fucking weight class. So I mean, you could show up and draw anybody. It's just the worst case scenario. Every time I ever went to the Mudville Grill, some animal was in my weight class that was, it was just a brick wall.
No, it was unbelievable, man. I mean, in every weight class. And what we always said is if you won Mudville, or if you could be top 3 at Mudville, you was probably top 3 in the country. That's how, and it was kind of true. Everything we've seen, if you placed at Mudville Grill, you could place at nationals. And it was a true story. It was true for me.
Let me ask you this: Who do you think is and we're going to exclude Bobby Hopkins just because he's probably too large to not be considered the best. But who do you consider would be your vote for the best arm wrestler to rise out of Florida during your time of arm wrestling?
To rise out of
Florida? Wouldn't have to be the largest or strong, but the true best arm wrestler. Any weight class.
Worley would have a vote for me. Man, there's so many good arm wrestlers in Florida. So.
Yeah, but I'll tell you that real upper echelon is not that many people. We could put Daniel Worley up there. We could put Jeremy Pappy. We could put Shark. We could put a modern day Artem. We could put give me some real ones that have Albert Kosar left-handed at a certain level.
Scott Horath left-handed. Greg Helm left-handed.
Scott Horath. Both hands. When he was down on his ass, he was unbeatable. Adam Barup and Noel Nunez had a real era down here for a couple years.
Absolutely. There's a top 10 for sure. You can I don't even know if I put Pappy in it because he's great for what he is, but he don't care. So it's hard to put somebody who don't care at the top of that.
Him beating Sam Harris at when Sam was the dude at WAL. I was there. I think it was in Georgia. I was somewhere in some fucking middle of nowhere. Jeremy Pappy 3-0 Sam Harris, and then 3-2 goes 3-2 with him on the other hand.
He's got a win on Bishop. He's got a win on Jeff Hell. He's got wins on the elite of the elite. And so, I give him – he's the man in his weight for sure. Just imagine if he trained. That's how I look at it.
It might be clear-cut that Daniel Worley's the most decorated arm wrestler in this modern era of Florida arm wrestling.
Yeah, for men and for women, I'd give it to Beth and Charity. Those two were the two top women, and they were probably – same level wise, just different weight classes. Yeah.
These were the two dominant women at Florida State every year I was there. Yes. Charity would be the one to be her daughter. It would be her and her daughter in the final.
Yep. And Beth and Casey in the heavyweights, So those 4 women were the badasses though, for sure. Men Worley's got a vote for me. Mike Newman's a badass for his weight, he's just a featherweight guy. So it's hard to I think lead him in his weight class.
If we weigh like credentials and the who's taken it to the limit, Daniel Worley's been the number one guy in the continent, several different occasions left-handed. He won the WAL left-handed regional, and not striking Newman. But I just think his credentials, man, they list like it's like I made some shit up on AI about myself, Well,
believe me, I've helped training and getting. I remember when I used to beat his left, and then one day I couldn't move it, and then the next day he just dominated me and never looked back. It was crazy. But, you know, I try to think out of the box too, because I don't want to pick just my guys. But you're right, Worley. Because Worley's right's no joke either.
Yeah, Shark is on a level that few have seen. He's been sitting at pretty much #1 in North America at 220 for almost a year.
Got you.
Why he hasn't pulled John Brzenk for maybe that weight class spot, I don't know. Not that I think it's a good match for Shark, but you know, for me to even be in the listing, you would have to hold the #1 ranking in your weight class at least once, because I know Shark, Worley, and Artem are the only guys I've ever known from Florida that have became the best on the continent.
Yep. And Worley's the old guy now. You know, he just hit 40. So
listen, he's nursing a 14-year tricep injury too.
Right.
And just
I'm not going to talk. I'm 50 now. I'm nursing all kind of injuries.
You're just one walking injury.
Yes.
Hey, so what do you guys think happens when you got Ron Bath and Shark pulling at the beef brawl mid-November? What happens there?
I think Shark will take it, truthfully. If Ron's at Shark's weight, I think Shark will take it. I love Ron, though. Ron's my favorite arm wrestler ever.
Oh, did I lose you?
But, I just think Shark's got, you know, there's a time. Ron's in his 60s. You know, there's a time you got to.
Fair. I
mean, I feel like I'm suffering with some of that these days myself.
And Shark really is on another level these days. It seems he's getting stronger.
Absolutely. I disagree. I think Ron's dominant hand control style and the fact that Shark likes to wedge, I think that Shark's going to start in a losing position. Now, whether he presses through it with his fucking arm, he probably can. But I would argue that my eyes, it's Ron 60-40. I'm giving the old war horse one more. He got one more left in him.
Hey, like I said, he's my favorite ever. I love that dude. So
I don't bet against Ron Bath.
Especially seeing a guy his age do it. You know, you see a man in his 60s look like Superman and dominate everywhere he goes. It's still unbelievable.
Yeah. We've got a lot of good guys too. And I'll tell you that there's guys that could be best in the country. Like, for example, let's say Daniel Price, maybe Dane Sellers, some of these, there's some good guys that have never even been to the Florida States, the true Florida States, or the Mudville Grill. Right. We've been hosting and pouring on the Florida States in trying to the last couple years. That's the whole point of calling it the real Florida State. We are bringing it back old school Mudville Grill, Jacks, Florida, first weekend of December, second weekend of December.
I think it's awesome. I think the nostalgia of the place, of the history of everything is huge. I mean, even Greg Helms called me to talk to me about it, and that's it. That was his baby. I mean, that was his deal, so, and he'll show up, he won't arm wrestle no more, but he'll show up, make an appearance, so it's all good stuff.
So, we started this year, the Florida Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame. What do you think if every year we did the Florida Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame, but we did it at the Mudville Grill at the end of the year?
I think it's awesome.
Right? Because doing it in March, we just did that because it was a good time. We had that particular event was lighter. We were able to fit it in. But as I'm thinking about it, why not have it every year at the world's longest event, kind of have our end of the year finale type thing? It should include the Florida Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Yeah,
is Chris still handling that? Chris Rosaka still handling the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, pretty much the final vote comes down to Chris Rousakis, and we pretty much have, like you've seen, we made a post where everybody was electing somebody.
Yep.
And it's not, obviously there's no point in Noel Nunez going in the Florida Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame when there's 100 old school guys waiting there,
Well, I mean, there's got to be the standards with, and I remember Christian Benny chiming in that should be retired arm wrestler. They should be done with it to go into the Hall of Fame or passed away or whatever.
Yeah, and that's how we kept it. We limited to that. We had Chris elect 4 people, and then we chose Chris as the 5th person without him knowing.
Right.
So, his old ass, you got to put him in.
Absolutely.
I've
never thought he wouldn't be in You know, he trained Bobby Hopkins, right? I mean, that says it all.
So in my world, Chris is the most eldest arm wrestler, followed by you, and then Daniel Worley, Carl Stanley.
Yeah.
And I don't remember somebody. Tool, like Jason Tool, you could argue. I know he arm wrestled back in the day, but like when I started arm wrestling, he didn't arm wrestle.
No, he took 10, 15 years off. So
he started in like 2016 or something, 2015, 14.
Yep.
When he came back right around 2012 when I started. The only people that I still remember, and this was back when like PJ Rizzo, like you said, D-Matt, Todd King, Dale Vizios. There was a bunch of people that people don't know who they are now, but I think it's you, followed by Chris, followed by you. So you're right on that pedestal, bro. You might be inducted if you keep aging out.
I hope I am when I'm there. You know, when I'm retired, and I get it's not my titles, it's my longevity. You know, and who I've trained. I've trained a lot of world champions out of this garage. You know, so those are all the different ways to do it, right? I mean, there's a lot of different ways. I beat the world champions right after they won worlds, but I've never held a world championship. So you got to take what you get in this sport.
I like the way you said that, out of this garage. You know, that garage has almost became, you know, the kiln in which a lot of tough people have been forged. Just
Every
in that
tournament
garage.
I go to, I feel like 90% of everyone's been through it once or twice. You know, I mean, a lot of people's taken the trip. So,
hey, you remember my first time out there?
Absolutely.
I was talking mad shit. I called Chuck. I told him I'm coming for your boy Rocky. Yes. I went out there and got my ass whooped. Yes. Rock buried me in the front yard.
And you know, our team's solid. We're not, I don't think Jacksonville's what it used to be, because we are loaded with novice guys right now. I mean, we've got our 4 or 5 steady pros. We got Joe Schaefer. We got Kevin Sams.
But I would
got a couple others. But
that's what relevance looks like. Would you rather be full of old timers? That shows your team's dying.
Yeah.
The fact that your team is full of young guys shows that, you know, it's turning over.
When I took over Team Jacksonville, it was me, Beth, and Casey for about 2 years. It was just the 3 of us, me and 2 girls. And now we have 50 people on this team if everybody showed up at one time. They're all on my message board. There's over 50.
I don't think people understand like anybody that can, you should kind of Google the Mudville Grill. The layout is essentially, if you could think of a baseball diamond with the stage being at home plate, and you basically have the entire infield. There is no outfield in this diamond setup, but the entire infield would be chairs and tables essentially. So
outfield's the bar on the backside.
Yeah, the outfield's the bar. It's a smaller venue for sure, but even though Florida arm wrestling, you know, just by entries is lower this year, we could still jam the fuck out of that building, dude.
I think you're going to, no matter what. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, everything we've done here in Jacksonville, like Moody's or mine, I tell everybody, it's not. I mean, of course, I want named arm wrestlers to show up and have a good time and have a good show. But I'm all about packing the seats. I think if the seats are packed, it makes. I don't care if you only have 15 arm wrestlers show up. If the seats are packed, you'll have a great day, because then you have the crowd. And once you have the crowd, and y'all know I've done this forever, and this is my hometown. So anything we do here, I bring 30 family members, much less the friends and family. You know, it's what we do. We arm wrestle, drink beer, and hang out, and that's what we do. If there's a tournament here, we're going to support it, and that's what we do in Jacksonville. You know,
that's also a subliminal warning to anybody that tries to mess with the Westbury family.
True.
There's 40 people in here, and 38 of them got
there
guns
will
on
be. Yeah, they're all cousins. You know, we're from the South. We're all cousins.
The other 70 rednecks that show up after this, you don't even want those to come in.
The after party. That's a whole other story.
Man, I had some good times out there. I'm looking forward to, like you said, kind of replicating the old vibe there. A little bit more of the prestige.
Yes.
You know, it's good to have one event per year that really just, it's not all about the money prize. It's more about the acclaim and the prestige.
Well, that's me growing up in this sport, it was all about winning states. That was your first goal anyway. So for me, I always wanted to win a states. I won 2 as an open arm wrestler, and then I wanted to win the nationals. Well, I've been top 2 6 times. I still haven't won that yet. I'm going back again this coming up year for that. So it's hard. It's not something you just walk down the road and do. You got to train for it. And I've trained my ass off. But now my sisters and my daughters, they're all world champions. So I've done something good with them, but I started all of them. Even Beth, she started when she was 8 years old because she had me as a big brother and I'm 10 years older. So she was lifting weights with me when she's 6, 7 years old.
She was probably the most diesel 10-year-old to ever walk the earth.
Pretty much. And then, my daughter's the same way. Lily, y'all all know Lily, Lily, I had the teacher call me in 3rd grade.
Like to give Lily a little bit. Let's give Lily some acclaim. I believe Lily had a match versus Trent Johns.
Yeah, she did. She got a win on Trent one time. She's had to win on a lot of men, though. But Lil is an IFA world champ. And the year we went to Worlds that year, she's the only American that won 6 medals in all the age groups, the 15 younger, 16 younger, 18 younger, 21 younger. So she's a teenager. She's got boyfriends now. She's busy, but my story was, you talk about Beth being a diesel. Lily in 3rd grade, the teacher called me because she was taking too long in the bathroom. Said she went in, she was flexing her traps for everybody in the bathroom in 3rd grade.
Awesome.
So the teacher's like, man, we just got to speed her up a little bit. And I was like, I'll talk to her,
You're like, good job, kid.
No, I'm not getting on to her. Just get faster in there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cut your posing routine in half. Absolutely. We got work to do.
But, I don't have sons.
You can't make this shit up. You got a grandson.
You can't. I do have a grandson, but he's got a little ways to go. But he'll be a year old, and he'll be a year old the day after Mudville.
Wow, time flies.
So we had his party planned until you told me December 7th, and we pushed it one day, the first Sunday, so we could all be at Mudville. So, yeah, but he's already a year old. Crazy.
That means at some point in the future, his birthday will be at Mudville.
Absolutely, it will.
It's destined.
Absolutely.
So, Mike,
yes, I've already told Gracie, he'll be going to Worlds when he's 13.
Hold on. One more thing, Chuck. One more. I was going to ask Mike something, but can you give all the guys, give a rundown on your team and some of the titles that the guys from Jacksonville have?
Just
you're talking about your daughters have world titles. You've got a state title.
Mike Newman, a couple of national titles under his hand. I think he took 5th in the world, and that was in the 137 class. Jeremy Pappy, he's won, I think, 2 nationals, several states. He'll never go to a Worlds. He don't really travel. He don't do that, but he beats Mike Newman like he's a kid, and they're the same weight class in the 154s, Kevin Sams, world champ, national champ. Beth Westbury, world champ, 22-time national champ, 3-time world champ.
Is that the most national championships by any person in the country? Does anyone have more? Craig Touyer's got to have more, probably.
Yeah.
There's got to be a couple
of them got to have more. But she won 2 every year for a long time, and that was 24 was the last.
That might be the female record for the U.S.
It might be. It could be because most of the females don't do it that long. And she started when she was 18, so she had a nice run. And then who else do we have? I'm trying to think of who else I have named.
Albert.
Yeah. Well, Albert, he's really retired too. He was a national champ. I mean, I got a lot of people that semi-retired now. From Horath to Jason Poole to me to everybody. But lots of people. All my pro level open guys were national level guys. Absolutely national level. A couple have world titles under their belts. But just like I think me and you talked when we were in Waldo this year, and I was asking you about the belt, how you rate the belts. And all my pros were pretty much black belts. They could possibly win the nationals anytime they showed up, right? That don't mean you will, but you have a great chance and you're a favorite to do that, so
what is Daniel's results at Worlds? Has he? I understand he went over to somewhere once. He traveled.
Yeah, that was a long time ago though, and that was back when he was 176. So that was a really long time ago. Because Daniel's pushing his weight with me now. We're pushing within 10 pounds of each other these days. So,
dude,
I just
Daniel was legit. when I started, he was 180 pounds.
Yeah. Now he does. I know for a fact he has a couple national titles under his belt. I remember he couldn't beat Ron Klimba forever in the 76s. So he moved up a weight class and he started dominating and got away from Klimba. Klimba just had a crazy style for him. You know,
Klimba was a problem. People forgot about him.
Yes.
He was a fucking problem.
Absolutely. Klimba was the man, right? So, yeah, I think the year I took second to Tim Bresnan, he took it to Klimba. So we both lost to the Connecticut guys at Nationals that year. So that's how it goes. You know, we all have our rivals. I feel like Team Jacksonville's have more rivals with Louisiana through my era. You know, we always had a rival with Louisiana. Daniel always had Toulier or whoever. I had Chop or whoever else. You know, it was just crazy how it always worked out that way.
Florida and Louisiana have a natural rivalry.
Yes.
They're both the only swamp states.
Yes.
They think they're more southern than us. They talk weird. Yeah, I know. I used to have a beef with Ray Hendricks.
Yeah.
I know all but Team Louisiana. They got a lot of bad motherfuckers from there.
They absolutely do. And you know,
that other guy, Jerry Avant was raw.
You know, Jerry Avant,
Hendricks, Haber, Grant Bundy.
Yes, a lot of them.
Yeah,
but you know, that's what makes this fun. I tell my guys, I don't even care about the tournament as much anymore. I want to beat the person's ass that beat me last time, right? So it ain't. I don't care that I've got trophies. I just give the trophies away when I want them. I want revenge of what happened to me the last time I arm wrestled, you know. And if I beat that person, most likely I've already got someone else. I got my eye on anyway, you know. But listen, I pulled Jerome at Moody's, and Jerome, I said, listen, I've been beat by Jerome 100 times now, but I made him adjust in the middle of the match. And I felt like that was a win for me because he just didn't take my hand and beat me. So I was like, I'll take this shit. I hugged his neck. I'm like, we're good. Next time I'll have a little more, you know.
You gain some ground.
You don't take them little wins when you get them. Yes. All about the little wins in arm wrestling. You know, you got to figure it out.
Yeah. And this is one thing too that I don't like about arm wrestling. I don't like that you can go to the national championship without winning a regional.
I like to see it
I'm like, if, for example, if we were to go to wrestling, I don't go to the national championship unless I'm the state winner, right?
Yes.
So they're not going to have the number 5 guy at states is suddenly the national champion. He's also going to be the Ohio State champion.
Worlds is the same way, you know.
And
with no qualifiers is a dumb way to do it, in my opinion. But
so for me as a kid, I always wanted to be a state champion. That was like the first step. I'm like, I'd hear people, I used to run track as a kid. Sure. And so I would hear people that were, you know, he's state champion. I was like, oh shit, that guy's legit. And I feel like a lot of, you know, with TV and YouTube and money in general, it's very easy to bypass. You will never remember the $1,200 you win. You will remember winning Florida States.
Absolutely. And the young guys, that's really all they're worried about. They don't have a vision like that no more. Like half the guys I get on my team now, they which thank goodness for YouTube. They know the basics already. You know, they might not stand right, but they know exactly what I'm telling them because they've watched it 3,000 times on YouTube. I think it's good and bad. I mean, most of the time I tell them don't ever watch it again until you actually learn how to do it. But I'm glad you know the lingo. You understand my language. But it's like I didn't play football till I was in high school, and the coach said I was the best thing he ever had because all the Pop Warner kids knew the Pop Warner way to do it. And I only learned his way to do it, and it worked out pretty well. So,
yeah,
you know, like
we're definitely in a clout chasing. Everybody wants to be the superstar day one. Absolutely. The journey is no longer glorious. But I will tell people from experience, my journey's been 12 years long. Winning the Florida State's one of them. I only won it one time in my life, and I tried a lot of times.
Yeah.
I believe 2 years ago, I ended up losing to John Theron, for example, at the December event at Euphoria. But it is memorable. I will tell you, I've won a lot of tournaments. I've been blessed to win multi-classes, multiple days. And like you said, you don't have the award no more. But I never forgot that 2019 day. You know, you remember everything.
I went to Mudville Grill 20 years in a row. And out of 20 years in a row, I won 3 of them.
Wow.
I won my second one as an amateur. 10 years later, I won a pro one. 11 years, I won my second pro, and then never came close again. So it's just crazy. And you got to be good. You got to be good to win it. And that's just to be able to say that means something by itself. You know, I mean, it means you worked hard. You use this goes back to what the over the top Bull Harley. It means I would work harder than anybody else worked because I wanted this more than anybody else wanted it, you know, and it is true. And I know I've worked my ass off for arm wrestling over years to never win a nationals, but evidently that other guy worked harder than me every time, and I beat him. The bad part for me is I beat those guys in the prelims, and I would lose it for the gold medal. I beat Glenn Brooks for the prelim. I beat who was the other guy? He was a black guy from the Midwest. Oh, Harold Owens. Beat him early in the day and lost to him for the gold medal. Yeah, no slouch. It came down to me and him, and I ended up losing to him for gold. And got to kick myself in the ass for it, and probably got in my own head, right? Thinking I already beat him and I'm going to do this, and you know, and that's the joy of arm wrestling too. You'll beat yourself before you ever even put your hand up there sometimes, or you'll win it before you ever put your hand up there. You might have the other person psyched out. So I don't know, because I see guys all the time that I'll train, and I know they have more than they got, and I've intimidated them or something. They're afraid to do something with me, and I'm like, man, I know you're better than this because then you pull so and so, but you can't.
Austin Wade has this effect on me. It's like he has a piece of kryptonite in his pocket.
Yeah.
I look like a little bitch as soon as we pull. I'm like, what the f? Dominated everybody else. And then him, it's like, I'm like, what happened?
Dude, Austin was just in practice this weekend.
Really?
That dude, he's getting
strong. Hey, Austin's got enough clout right now.
Yeah.
He don't need his head gets any bigger. He'll just be head and arms. That's it.
Yeah. He pulled with Gage Boswick, and there's like probably a 30, 40-pound difference there. And Gage is no slouch, but Austin had more than enough for him.
Absolutely.
That was 2 hours. That was 2 hours into practice.
That's
Gage
crazy.
Showed up fresh. Austin 2 hours in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So me and you know, Chuck, you even more so, but you understand how arm wrestling, you know, you'll be so in and loving it, then you'll be disillusioned, and it's like it corrupts your life, and you have to come back to this balance. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this, right? It's like anything.
Absolutely.
Mikey, so we're kind of, our opinion is not, it's very biased. We can't be unbiased about it at all. We've been so in depth in it and sacrificed for it. You know what I'm saying? Mikey is on the opposite end of the spectrum. He's still in that like newlywed stage.
Yeah, the honeymoon stage for sure.
Everything's awesome. Oh my god, a Dennis Saplinkov video. You know, like he's fucking fanboy. Like, and that's a beautiful place to be in. You know, that's like you will always remember your first guys, the first pro you ever pulled. You're like, what the fuck is he, a wizard? Like, how do you know? But what do you think? Because you're coming up in this, and you're promoting, and you're understanding selling a dream and gimmicks and all the little ins and outs of an event. How do you feel about wanting personally to claim that at the end of the day that you are a state champion? Are you a state champion in anything at this point?
Nah.
No. Okay. Nah. So exactly, me neither. I never won the state championship in any sport I did. And so what does that mean? Like, is that something that you as a new arm wrestler still see as super dope?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you said, I think that's the first big accomplishment. Also too, man, I've been in Florida the majority of my life, 30, 34, almost 35 years. I hate hearing that Louisiana or Canada has a state title over us.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I have a duty as a Floridian to bring that back, you know, for us Florida boys.
And what are you pulling, Mikey? Are you gonna be 220s?
220. Yeah, that's pretty much where I stick around 220.
Gotcha.
You hit the nail on the head. It is your duty to defend this motherfucking state.
And you have to feel that way. It's pride, right? This weekend's Florida Georgia weekend in Jacksonville, so everything's about Florida this weekend, right? But we are truly a split city when it comes to the Georgia Bulldogs too. So that's a killer town. I don't even care about either team, but I won't wear Bulldog colors because I'm a Florida guy. You know,
that's it. That's it. You show up in a Bulldog anything, we're throwing you out the building. Come back.
Absolutely, we're gonna talk shit for sure.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a good time. It's just weird. Like we're all sitting on here, right? You, Chuck, your first tournament, your first Florida State Championship 20 years ago was at this event.
Yes.
Mikey's first state championship is going to be at this event.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's just so funny. 2 decades apart, 2 guys, completely different paths, starting the journey, same exact place.
Absolutely. It's going to be cool. I think the 220s is getting tougher too, because now I got Larry Anderson that's pulling 220s.
He's back.
He's back. He can make 98s, but I told him, I said, you're probably going to do better in the 220s. And so far, he's done 2 or 3 tournaments now, and he's doing all right at it. So I don't know if he's going to stay heavy or if he wants to drop. 98s is just such a huge class here in Florida.
Huge. It's a fucking murderer's row.
Absolutely.
You run down the gauntlet of fucking Wade, Artem, Joe, just hitters coming through. It could be Noel.
Joe's now 205 this week. Yeah, Joe's 98. Wade's a 76 guy. He's still low. He don't have to pull that class. But Artem, I don't know. Artem's in the 185s half the time, so I don't know. I know he likes that class because it's natural for him. So 98.
There's nothing.
And then you got Kevin Sams.
There's nothing natural about Artem.
And then Kevin Sams is 198. He's a beast. I don't care how old he is or what he does. He loves arm wrestling so much. He'll go to every tournament. In Jacksonville, we'll have 3 practices in a week at different places. He's at every one of them. He don't care.
He
just does it. He loves it.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I've seen him pull back to back like 3 tournaments.
Yeah, he's back to back to back. He don't care.
Yeah.
He just wants to arm wrestle, which is awesome.
Dude, he arm wrestled on the side table at your event, Mikey, and then 7 days later had a super match with John Theron.
Yeah.
I was going hard on his arm, hitting on his arm. But he didn't give a fuck.
He don't care. He don't care. But he's wide open, and I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time, man. I'm looking forward to it. I know the owners of the Mudville Grill, they're super excited. When I called him, he's like, what took you so long? We've been waiting on your call.
Right.
So,
hell yeah. Is the plan for it to start at 1 o'clock that day?
Yeah. 12 to 1. We'll get it rocking.
Gotcha.
I think
I'll do our weigh-ins again up in Jacksonville for y'all too.
Cool.
So whatever y'all need up here.
Mikey, I know you say that again.
Did you get refs, Mikey? With the refs, did you get enough refs signed up?
I think I have 2 right now. I think I have a head and a down, so I'll probably will need more still.
What? Hold on. Why?
I don't want to do it all day, but I'll help you.
We're not going to have Casey ref. That's the nostalgia.
Casey retired.
She's retired. All right.
Ever since Bedwell got in her face, or isn't that his name? He was on Mikey's team.
Oh, man.
Yeah. When he got in her face at my tournament up here, she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yep.
Too crazy. Yeah, it's going to be a good time, man.
She'll run brackets.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Chuck's got the whole support crew ready to go. He'll pull in a trailer with 6 women that jump out and run your whole tournament.
Hell yeah. Only way to do it, right?
That's it. That's his whole family.
I love doing that stuff. I just don't want to be stuck doing it all day. Yeah, I love doing it all. I just don't want to do it all day long.
Me neither, bro. I'll tell you what.
I like the politic. I want to go hug the babies and kiss the mamas. I don't want to. I don't want to sit there and work it all.
Hey, I'm gonna call you Chance Shaw.
You call.
He just wants to smile and take pictures while I'm out there telling beans. Motherfucker, 280 pounds ain't carrying shit.
Yeah.
All right, you're a true promoter then, Chuck, because these are the type of assholes that I hate. They're always working me to death. He's over here. He's like drinking a soda. He's like, yo, go get this. No.
Is there a live stream this year?
Oh yeah.
I think Mikey's got the stream on lock. No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely do one for sure.
Nice. Good. I've had people ask me those questions. That's the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, this is what I was telling Mikey with the initial reason. This is why me and you had a talk behind the scenes. I don't step on nobody's toe, but I have a feeling there's going to be a massive Team Jacks turnout. So if you've got 50 guys and 30 show up, that's probably going to represent a third of the tournament.
Right, sure.
That will,
You know what gets me with the newbies that we have now? It's crazy that none of them want to pull tournaments. They want to train. They'll train their ass off on Christmas Day. They'll train. And I'm like, you going to the tournament? And they say, I don't know. And I don't know if it's because they're afraid to lose in front of people. I don't know if it's an ego loss. I don't know, because I would much rather pull tournaments. Now, granted, I don't pull many tournaments, but I used to pull 8 a year. And then I had kids and now I have grandkids. So I think I've pulled 4 this year, which is a good number for me. 3 to 4 is perfect for me every quarter. But the new guys
say that. I noticed the same thing. Our practice is the same way. We have a lot of new guys that will show up in the middle of a hurricane. They're asking for practice.
Yeah.
But don't want to come to a tournament.
And even in Florida, there is a tournament every weekend or every month. Every 4 weeks you can go. And they're like, that's just too far. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
I going to Chicago and North Carolina. And
those guys are probably going to suck. Only reason I say this. Well, and even if they have the heart, you're not learning shit at practice about tournament arm wrestling.
No,
like if me and you arm wrestled, we would both get probably an illegal grip, and then we would probably both ease into it and end up ultimately grinding out a match. Yes. So practice makes you strong as hell.
Absolutely.
Like it gets you table strong, but I don't really know that practice teaches you how to pull in a tournament.
No, it's not
tournament speed. In a tournament, you won't learn.
Yeah, it's like going from high school to the pros in football. It's a whole nother speed of thing. And when you walk around bowed up all day and you're flexing all day, and you got to learn how to watch your body so you don't gas out in a half a day and it's over, you know. And I've done it all. I know. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
So you walk around bowed up, chest poking out all day.
I encourage any of these guys to go to more tournaments than practices if you had to choose.
Yeah.
Only because
everybody. The only
that ready to go is so fast in the early stage.
You can't afford it. Did I just lose you?
Yep. No, we got you.
That's what I wonder too. Is it a money issue? Can people not afford to pull? Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, I don't know. I beg my guys to go. I'm like, the only reason you shouldn't go is if you can't afford it. Because believe me, I've been there. I didn't go to several Worlds or Nationals because I couldn't afford it, or Arnold's. I said, but if it's in your backyard, like we've had 3 in Jacksonville this year, including this one. And I have guys on my team who didn't go to mine, Moody's, and probably won't go to y'all's. And that blows my mind. I'm like, it's 30 minutes from your house. Which, look, Jacksonville's an hour across. From one end of Jacksonville to the other, it's an hour. But an hour to go to a tournament is
but how much of that do you think is because they're scared to get their ego, as Robert Kelly said?
I think it's 99%.
When you tell your wife you're the strongest dude in the world, and Chuck Westbury shows that you aren't the strongest dude in the world, it's a fucking, you wish you went to practice instead.
Absolutely.
Practice, you can claim, well, you know, we're just stretching each other out, we're feeling, you know. In tournament, when Daniel Worley flashes your ass and looks to the crowd like it did, like, where's the next match? How you gonna explain that to your daughter?
Sure.
My daughter's gonna know.
Horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Believe me, my wife would run over to Daniel Worley and grab his muscles and be like, hey, Chuck sucks today.
I feel like that's happened a lot to Daniel in his life.
Yeah, yes, it has. Yeah, it sure has.
Many wives have looked over at him like, what the fuck?
A hug for me.
Yeah. Everybody's the cool guy at arm wrestling till Daniel walks in the building.
That's true. So then they all want to be his best friend.
And then you're like, you know what? I'm not even like Parsons. I'm not even a real arm wrestler. That's what every time he lost, that's how he justified it. And I felt like that was good. It helped his spirit because he didn't take it to heart. He's like, you know what? I'm not even a real arm wrestler. I'm like, you're at every practice and tournament.
Yeah. If it gets you through the day, more power to you.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I think, like Robert said, I think it's ego over money. I know tournaments are a bit expensive, but you know, money's flowing right now. It's a weird time where people have money to, you know, a little bit of gas. I don't think personally holds people back, but it is worth noting too. Arm wrestling has grown more expensive.
Sure it has. But
this is no longer the $20.
Yeah.
Sure. And you could thank Joe Biden for that. So
absolutely
keep that in mind. Mike,
you go there?
Have something else going on?
Yeah, I got something in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, UAL. I'm promoting an event for them. November 16th at the Fit and Flex Expo. And that one, actually, we dropped the price. I figured let's try an experiment. Let's bring the price down, see if it brings more people in. So we're only charging $35 an entry for that one. It gets you into the expo for free too.
Nice.
That's cheaper than it is to go to the USA Fit Games.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a fitness expo. You have a gym. You have a gym booth there for your gym.
I'll probably run a ProGear booth as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's on the stage, so he'll be at one of the one of the actual sports competing with. They'll have it set up there. Is that correct, Mikey? You'll be on one of the main stages?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so what? That's a UAL affiliated event.
Yeah. Bill Collins reached out, wanted us to run it.
What do the awards look like for that?
Man, I wish I had them with me too. Like I sent a picture over to you, Brandon. We just got some really nice big 5-inch ProGear medals.
Yeah, I was pretending like I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't catch the clue. Yeah, no, they're super nice, man. I'm really impressed with them. I can't wait to start giving some of those out.
Listen, it's a fucking gear that's as big as this circle on my t-shirt hanging from. You look like Flavor Flav of arm wrestling if you win this thing.
That's if you get third place, then you get a gold one.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a metal guy, Mikey, or do you order them from somebody?
No, I have a metal guy. I'll get you his contact. It's a really good contact.
Please send it to me because I would love for my new logo to be the metal. Yeah, my new logo needs to be my medal for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get you his contact info.
For only $19.99, I will send you the details. No,
absolutely.
Mike,
that's what it takes.
No, dude, Mikey's got the. I don't know if anyone's seen them. I've seen the awards. They're insane. Cast. They look like they're a zinc alloy. Yeah. A heavy metal award, massive. They're 5-inch. Nobody in Florida has seen a 5-inch medal. Any award I've ever gave you was a 4-inch medal or 3-inch. Florida's never seen the 5-inch. The 5-inch looks like the Spartan race size medals, or the big one. So
it's stupid big. The best medal I'd seen prior to that was at the Sarah Backman Classic. Those Harley medals.
Right. Those are awesome.
Those are badass, and this outshines it significantly.
That medal got us sued by Harley nearly, just to put that out there. So if you have one of those, don't be posting it and tagging Harley Davidson. Yeah, it's going to be a good time, man. We'll bring some old school with some new school. I haven't been keeping up with much on the schedule, but I do feel like Florida State's is pretty much the last big event of the year. There's been a lot of good ones this year too. There has. I know that I do 10 events this year. I know we had Chuck through the biggest event of the year. There's been several events. Sean Hancock and us came down. We had the Sarah thing. So what a way to cap it off, man. Right back at the Mudville Grill. This is the longest running event in Florida history. So there's never been an event that started in the 80s and still going in the 2024.
I can only imagine what it's like for you guys or some of the other old heads. As a new guy, I'm super excited to participate in something that's been this long running. So I can't wait. I can't wait for this.
Well, I think it's all important, even like with the Hall of Fame, because these new guys don't know those names. They don't know nothing about them. And like my coaches, that was almost before internet. They don't have footage out there on them like that. So
yeah.
Just to be able to bring them up and talk about that stuff, I think that's huge.
Yeah, I would love to. I'll actually make it my personal mission. I'm going to attempt to trace down the lineage of the Florida State Championship and see actually how many hands this thing's went through. Because if it's been from Chris to Greg and Karen and us, and then it's. I can't imagine all these other hands that it went through.
Well, just 25 years of one tournament is unbelievable by itself.
That is.
Yeah. I mean, 25 years in one venue.
Yes.
Excluding 3 years with COVID.
That too.
But that's one venue. This tournament, like I said, Chris Rusakis hosted the Florida States in 1982.
Right.
And then Bobby hosted.
Then it went to the Orange Park Mall. I mean, maybe Greg and Keith Crocker did that one too. States went to Orange Park Mall for a couple times, and then Mudville took over in the mid-90s, and they had it ever since.
I'm going to message Greg and ask him about the years he hosted it and when he started. At least his UCAN era that he had.
He messaged me and Mikey, and he said 95 is when it started. So he had to host the first 10 years of it because that's when I was arm wrestling. And then he got hurt and fizzled and retired pretty much. And then Karen and Frank took over.
And has the entire time Greg did it, was it in North Florida, Jacksonville, this whole time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it was, I'm saying Mudville in general. He handled Mudville for the first 10 years because he retired in the early 2000s, 2003, 2004. As he tore his
You're talking about Mudville?
Mudville. Yeah, Mudville. So he started that in 95. And
that's 30 years. That's 29 years.
Yeah. Yeah. We just had the break because of COVID. That's all. That's the only thing that's broke it since then.
And that wouldn't have happened, but Karen was scared. I wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, I love Karen Bean, Frank Bean. They're dope. The truth is when I approached Karen, she basically kind of went silent during COVID about Florida States.
Yes.
We told her, hey, there's like a whole bunch of guys training for this all year. It has to happen, whether it's with, and she said, listen, I'm not coming down there. More than likely, I'm never coming down there again for this, just because, she was just at the end of her promotional run. And she could have actually kind of tied it up, not gave the blessing, kind of, been some sort of way about it. But she was like excited that it would keep going, supportive. She asked for the first one to put her AAA logo on it.
Absolutely.
And then that was what, so shout out to Karen Bean too for helping keep the Florida State Championship alive just by passing the torch, knowing when it was time to pass the torch and doing it with ease. So
yeah, that's awesome.
So if it started in 95, that means next year is the Dirty 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Just in that one same spot. It's Mikey, you want to give them the rundown on the details? I got to get off here in just a minute, but the dates and everything for the tournament?
Yeah. December 7th, like you said, we're going to start. I always like saying 12, but realistically, probably 1 will start. We're running all the standard weight classes that we normally do, both amateur, pro. We'll have women's. I mean, if there's enough of a need for it, I'd love to do kids, masters.
I think you do 2 women's classes and 2 masters classes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kids will happen. Bring your kids. So anyone watching this, tag your homeboy that's got 6 kids. Okay. Bring them all. We want the kids. Listen, I love the kids arm wrestling. For me, the excitement from the crowd, getting my own kid involved, and being able, it makes it a family thing, not just a greedy thing where it's just for you. So the kids, bring your kids. We're definitely going to have a kids class out there.
Brandon, have you pulled with my daughter yet? My 13-year-old, Corey?
I would destroy her.
Yeah. Hey, I'll put money on it.
On a good day.
Hey, she's strong. Yeah, did you see she won in Puerto Rico against the adults?
I didn't see. She won the lady?
She did. Yeah.
Was there grown women?
Yeah. There was only one. There was actually originally 5, and 4 of them backed out. It was an injury. One of the arm wrestlers got hurt. 4 of the girls got spooked. One stepped up and said she'd pull the 13-year-old.
Wow.
She regretted it after that.
She needs a hat with all the injuries, like a fighter pilot's fucking thing. You just keep putting scars across them. You see me with more scars on my face, that's because I kept breaking arms.
There you go.
That's good, man. I love the kids coming out. It's always an amazing time. So,
are you guys planning on pulling? Are either of you going to pull for states?
Oh, I'm pulling. Yeah, I'm pulling.
I'm going to be Austin Wade in the finals after Artem lays down to me to prop me up for my win. He's going to put a lot of wear on Wade, and then he's going to take the L to me and then send Wade to me finals. Wore out. That's the plan. We've talked about it.
No, I'm pulling 42s opens right and left. And I'm training for nationals next year. So that's what I want to do my age group at nationals, but for this it's pros.
which nationals?
IFA. That's the one I'm planning on going to.
The USAA.
Whatever. I can't keep up, man. I don't know.
I
I can
know.
tell you it's in Dayton, Ohio in April. I know that much. So that's my plan right now. I'm actually finally, after the weight loss, my strength is finally starting to wake up again, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it, man. I'm excited to party with everybody. I know that Florida's kind of, it's just been a weird year for Florida arm wrestling. I think the Florida State's coming back. There's no reason you shouldn't go here. If you're affiliated with the FAL, you should go. If you're affiliated with Flow Arm, ProGear, Mayhem, South Florida, those weird dudes up in the Panhandle, even you guys are invited. Everybody should come on out.
Every state, everybody. It's all good stuff.
Country. Let's get John Theron out again.
Yeah.
Get that title back.
Fuck no, leave his ass in Canada. I'm trying to win.
I know he's fucking strong.
Yeah, leave him. He just whooped Artem. Leave his heat. Who are we gonna put against him? I got to get off here, big dog. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely. Yeah,
appreciate it, guys.
I think we covered everything. I think we're good, right?
Yeah, man. If anybody has any questions, man, check out the ProGear Arm Wrestling page. You could reach out to Mikey, myself. Chuck will put you in the right hands. If you're from Jacksonville, Florida, hit up Team Jacksonville, Chuck Westbury too. Yep. It's live.
We train every Thursday night, 6:30. If anybody wants to show up in Jacksonville, everybody's welcome.
Cool.
All right, man. You fellas be safe. I'm gonna see you guys in December.
All right, fellas.
Peace.
Take it easy.